Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Sunday, March 2nd after the Celtics 110-103 win over the Denver Nuggets. Afternoon game, Celtics got a win over Jokic. First time in, I think, a couple of years at this point that they managed to beat Jokic. No Aaron Gordon for the Nuggets, no Drew Holiday, no KP for the Celtics. A relatively even matchup on that front, if anything. Maybe more in favor of health for the Nuggets. But regardless, good win for Boston. We're up by as many as 20. The Nuggets made their run. Jamal Murray hit some big shots. They ran a lot of pick and roll with Murray and Jokic in the third quarter. They played the whole quarter. Joe Mazzulla talked about it post game. But the Celtics held on. They kept bouncing back whenever the Nuggets made a run, and it was a good game, good win.
Very good win. This was a really good bend don't break game from the Celtics. The Celtics certainly bent. They built the lead up several times and then let Denver get, I think 4 was the magic number. Maybe it got to 3 at one point. I don't think it got much closer than that, and they managed to hold them off at the end of the game. We saw some really great heroics from Derrick White. We had a really good Horford game. It was a rare off day for Tatum, yet the team still managed to win. He still managed to contribute and find a way to impact the game in other ways, which was pretty good. And of course, Jalen got everything he wanted against Jamal Murray. There's plenty to talk about here, but it was good to see them bounce back after Friday's disappointing loss, kind of be met with the same challenges that they were met with on Friday, and managed to come out on top this time instead of letting that lead completely disappear.
Yeah, this was a weird game. Jason Tatum, I think, did a pretty good job of not forcing it too much. He took 15 shots, which is lower than his average, but that also tied for the most on the team. But then you look at the box score, and the Celtics only took 78 shots as a team. The Nuggets got 8 more shots than they did. So it's a bit weird from that perspective. And the Celtics had 10 offensive rebounds. So that was odd. They got out in transition a good amount. Good Jaylen Brown game. I think that's probably the lead here. Actually, no, Al Horford's the lead, but we can start with Jaylen. 22 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. 8 assists. Let me rephrase. 22 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. 2 steals, 2 blocks in the fourth quarter, too. Had 5 turnovers, but offset that with some great play in other areas of the court. Jaylen Brown went to work in this game. He bullied Jamal Murray. He would have been sent to the principal's office. This was, I'm going to get you on my back, and I'm just going to score whenever I want. And then it dried up a little in the fourth quarter. He probably should have made a couple of those shots, but this was just a good all-around game from JB on a night where Tatum didn't have it.
Breaking news. Anton Watson has been waived.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. That is wild.
Insane development.
I'm shocked. I'm perplexed.
I don't know why. Is that like a G League play where they want to pick him up on a two-way or something? Or was he already was on a two-way?
He was on a two-way.
Oh, man, that's so bizarre. We were talking about Jalen. Jalen, really, really impressive bully ball game. You mentioned it, principal's office stuff. This was just about the same way that it went last March, when they played the game in Denver that the Celtics ended up losing. It was the first time that we saw Jalen really assert himself that season. And it was en route to this impressive playoff run where he goes on to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP, where he goes on to win Finals MVP. This is the sort of thing that we need to see from him. And I know he mentioned to you guys after the game that his knee's been bothering him. Not great. But anytime he gets 2 feet in the paint, feels pretty good about scoring the ball. Obviously, being the bigger man, stronger man than Jamal Murray, he's going to be able to get that. And I think the Celtics did a really good job of attacking switches in an effective way today. They did a pretty good job of it on Friday, too. I don't want to completely shit on the concept because it does work. But they really got the best quality shots today. Even the ones that didn't go for Jalen at the end of the game, all of them felt like good shots. That's what I was happy with.
Yes, 100%. Jalen did a great job of intentionally finding it. That word intentionality, I think, describes Jalen really well, and especially this game that he had. Very, very good. Al Horford played like it was 2012 again. 19 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, but that means he was 6 of 8 6 of 9, from inside the arc. Had a few transition opportunities too. Just a monster game from Al. 3 offensive rebounds too. Like, there's no conversation to have about it outside of the same one we have every time Al plays great. It's holy fuck, this guy's 40 and he's doing crazy shit and it's super fun to watch. Did a great job on Jokic too. Phenomenal work by Al.
Man, I said it to Jake. I did play back with Jake, did the post game with Jake. Seeing him flip the switch is always like a very like calming, soothing experience where you're like, he's ready. He's still got it in the tank. He's not going to go out there every single day and play like this, but in a big spot against Jokic, of all people, where he's tasked with at least trying to guard Jokic on these plays before they start switching everything, he's able to have this offensive game, his second highest scoring total of the season. Pretty impressive. Not to mention, he had 3 steals, passing lane steals. He had the big lay-in at the end of the game, running the break. Still had the legs underneath him despite playing his ass off the whole day. Loved what we saw from Al. It was a vintage game. Not a lot of threes taken. Not that I have any problem with him shooting threes. They're almost always wide open shots. Love this from Horford. And I feel like also anytime he plays this level, the crowd gets an energy boost and the rest of the team kind of gets a little bit of a charge in them. They're like, yeah, we got to go out there and ball out for Al. So excellent day.
It's nice to see Al play well, especially as the years go on. We can talk about Tatum too. He had 16 points at 4-15 shooting, 1 of 7 from 3. Took 8 free throws with 7 of 8. It was fine. 6 turnovers where I think where the real problem was. He was very sloppy with the ball. But he had 11 rebounds and 7 assists. Not a good Tatum game. Just didn't have it. It was very clear that like something was off in pretty much all aspects of his game, whether it was he was being lackadaisical or he wasn't paying attention where he needed to. It was just it just felt like an off night, and it didn't end up hurting him too much. And the game just turned into Jalen and Derrick. What can they do for you? And the answer is win. But it's just an uncharacteristically off game for Tatum, and I guess he has these spacey games every once in a while, but this was definitely one of them. Was the point?
What are you gonna do? Maybe he was a little tuckered out from Friday, huh? Doing just about everything and coming up with nothing. So the 6 turnovers in this one, a little bit, I wouldn't say concerning, but definitely takes the grade down. Not great. It's good that he was able to play a well-rounded game despite not really putting the ball in the basket. 11 rebounds is good on a day they kind of needed a boost on the glass and needed to battle on the glass. He did so. And I don't really think he took a lot of take them out of the game shots. Instead, when he didn't have it going, he got himself the free throw line. He shot 8 free throws in this game. 3 of them came on a technical and then an end of the game foul, but did a really good job of going to the cup in the second half instead of trying to find his rhythm by creating shots for himself that were just not going to fall today. The more we see Tatum go to the basket in these situations, the better. I don't have a problem with him shooting the ball, of course. I mean, he just had an incredible shooting day on Friday, but when it's not going, getting downhill, using that improved handle, using that strength to get to the basket is always the best choice.
Definitely. I thought Tatum did a good job of managing what he was doing in terms of shot selection and everything like that. So I was pleased to see how he handled the rough night, although it was, like I said, an uncharacteristically off night. Derrick White was awesome. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Hit every big shot there was to hit late in this game, and I think that was probably the reason they won. Jamal Murray got hot, did a good job of slicing and dicing the Celtics defense a little bit, but every time there was a moment where you were like, oh shit, Celtics might actually lose this game, Derrick White was just like, I got you. Hit a big 3, hit a big floater, got a big steal, did something fun. This is Derrick White. You need to win a title, and it was a phenomenal showing for him.
Yeah, just another day, just another game in the season. Derrick White saving their ass in a big spot. Now it's finally up. I can look at how many fourth quarter points did he have? You probably have the NBA.com's box score up. I have the ESPN one, so I have to go on NBA.com to see those splits.
Derrick White had 8 points in the fourth quarter.
8 points in the fourth, and on top of that, he also had an incredible alley-oop to Luke Cornett and had a big steal after Tatum turned the ball over. 2 big momentum shifting plays along with his scoring output. He's been doing shit like this all year. This is a game that makes me feel an even greater desire to see the ball in his hands at the end of the game. I'm not saying run everything through him, but let him create, let him dribble, let him be the shot creator a little bit, because we saw him do that on the Luke play. He made a good read, driving to the cup. The center comes up on him. He hits Luke for an easy dunk. Big momentum play. And he's made how many big threes this year? It feels like every big shot in the fourth quarter, no matter what day it is, even today, not today, doesn't matter. It's going to go in. He made a huge, like, grenade type shot over Jokic with the shot clock running down when they really needed a bucket. This has been maybe the biggest, besides Pritchard, leap in terms of like an individual production this year. What Derrick has done in the fourth quarter has been above and beyond. He had that really big rebound chase too, where he picks up the ball, hits the floater. Derrick White all season has taken a tremendous leap as a fourth quarter guy. Very happy with what we saw from him today. Looked confident handling the ball. And I think if he's able to keep this up in the playoffs, it can be an added attack plan at the end of the game. Because it felt like they kind of lacked that on Friday night. They didn't really have that extra person they could go to. The rest of the guys were kind of on tired legs, and it didn't really work out at the end. So, shout out to Derrick. Great showing.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. You said it. Derrick White was fucking awesome. 3 of 5, 2 of 4 in that fourth quarter. Like we said, 8 points. He was just so huge, and they came in big spots too. It was the momentum plays that really, solidified how good of a game this was for Derrick White. So it was great to see him thrive in those opportunities or those positions, and it was great to see. Luke Cornett was good. Starting lineup, played over 30 minutes, almost 31. 3 of 5 in the field for 8 points. He had 4 assists. Did a lot of work out of the short roll, especially in that first half. Did a solid job helping over cutting off, cutting off cuts, as Joe Mazzulla said after the game. Said we didn't care about Jokic. We want to stop everything around him, and they cut off the cuts. Offensive rebounding, he was good. He had 1 of those, but just attacking the glass. Only had 1 rebound, but he sort of made life hard on Jokic and whoever was in front of him, so everyone else could grab rebounds. So it was a good Luke game. We can talk about Nemi too when we get to him, but starting with Luke at least, he did his job. It wasn't like this crazy, oh my God, look how good Luke is game, but he did his job well enough. And when you're going up against Jokic, that's pretty much the standard.
Sure is. I love what we've seen from Luke this season. He's taken full advantage of the added opportunity he's gotten with Kristaps missing a lot of time to start the season, and then Horford and Kristaps kind of just resting every now and then. Luke has gotten so much more opportunity. Just nothing but solid. Like 8 and 4 with a block. What else can you really ask from the guy when he's guarding Jokic and being switched onto Jokic? Now, I saw Noah tweeted out, Jack, where you guys were all having a chat of who you would most like to see guard Jokic. Where did you land on that? What was your answer?
Luke.
I feel like Jake swayed me because I was agreeing with you, and he said he likes Luke a little bit better as the roamer, and I kind
we
of
talked
agree.
about that too, and I see it.
But if you just wanted like a guy where you're sticking to everyone else, I would say Luke. I like Luke in that spot. I think he's probably a little bit stronger than Al. He's a little bit like just bigger, longer, and I think that is more disruptive than Horford on Jokic. Typically, he hasn't been like as effective as he's been on like Embiid, which I mean, it's 2 different players, but still.
I think the Embiid thing is he's going to body you into the post, get really low, and then get his shot or get to the line. And now is really good at defending without fouling and has a lot of lower body strength. The biggest thing with Jokic is he'll get to his spot and then he'll just rise up and have his hook shot. So I think having Luke's positional defense with his added height and length and wingspan and standing reach gives you a bit more of an advantage. That's not to say Al Horford can't guard Nikola Jokic. He did a phenomenal job in this game of guarding Nikola Jokic. But
also, Jokic.
Jokic is Jokic.
Funny thing about Jokic, there were a few times in the second half where he had like Pritchard or White on him at the high post, and he didn't even try and do anything with it. He like hit Russ for one of them, and Russ lost the ball out of bounds. And there was another one where he hit a guy in that dunker spot too, rather than trying to create. I wonder if that's one of those things where he's going to do it in a playoff situation. It's not often you see guys of his caliber with a mismatch so drastic and they don't attack it.
I don't know. I would have to look, but the Celtics did a good job of throwing multiple bodies in the paint in the area. So if I had to guess, Luke or Al was probably sitting in the dunker spot waiting to guard or send help or something. And so Jokic recognized that and tried to get a better shot from wherever. But Jokic only took, I think, one shot in the fourth quarter or something like wild. I saw on Twitter. He took 2 shots in the fourth quarter, 2 of 2. And then 1 assist. Like, it's pretty not impactful. I mean, Murray was on fire, 6-11 for 13 points, so he was great. He had 3 6, but it was weird to see that happen. Joe Mazzulla said after the game, and I wrote about it, and it might be my video tomorrow. Gary Washburn asked him, like, Jokic almost had a triple-double, but it felt like he did this, blah, blah, blah. And Joe was just like, we didn't talk about Jokic at all in the gameplay. Like, we didn't care. Basically, like, we cared about everything around him, controlling what we can control. And I thought that was interesting because it's like effectively admitting that you can't slow down Jokic by attacking Jokic. You have to slow down Jokic by affecting what he can affect, which is like a weird, like I tweeted out, is that the first rule about Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. The first rule about beating Jokic is don't talk about Jokic, which, like, by sagging off of Christian Braun and Russell Westbrook's, Joe Mazzulla also had a funny quote that I tweeted with no context, which was like, every decision, no decision comes from one place. Everything has a plethora of consequences, good and bad. And he was talking about like starting Cornette versus, the rim protection versus keeping Hauser scoring off the bench, whatever. But I think that is true because, like, by sagging off of Westbrook and Christian Braun, you are, yes, allowing them to shoot threes, which is the whole, let the bad shooter shoot thing, which we have talked about, we don't love, but you're also eliminating their ability to cut, which they are phenomenal at. They're 2 of the best cutters in the game, with one of the best passers in the NBA history, right at the top of the key and in the post. So by having them there, you cut off their cuts and you make them take shots they're less comfortable with. And by sagging off them, you're also taking away other people's cuts because Cornette is now 2 steps away from the paint and the rim, and whoever's guarding Christian Braun, probably Derrick White, which I'm gonna have to go look at the film, is probably 2 steps away from helping at the rim and taking away that cut too. So being aware of that, by playing double bigs, you are not only helping the rim protection around Jokic and helping on him, you're eliminating their transition game because you have more guys attacking the offensive glass. So they have to keep more guys to, battle you there, and they can't run in transition. Like, everything the Celtics do has layers to it. It has multiple purposes. And the whole thing of we're not going to focus on Jokic has everything to do with Jokic, which is like the most ironic thing. Like, it is, we don't talk about Jokic because we know that if they had exerted all their energy onto purely stopping Jokic, that would have left like other guys open to do the things that Jokic does well. Like, that helps them do well. It's like a very backwards thinking, but it makes a lot of sense when you dive into the details of why they did it. And I thought it was an interesting perspective for him to just blatantly say, like, we didn't even talk about Jokic, which obviously, like, they know Jokic. They're gonna, do what they can to stop him because he's that good. But in a weird way, Jokic punishes other teams who tried to game plan around him, but so by not game planning around him, you kind of game plan for him. It's a very weird way that I'm phrasing it, but I hope you point gets across.
And with everything you said, the way that they approach this, Jokic, I mean, for any other guy, this is like a pretty impressive game, but like for Jokic, by his standards, this wasn't a monster game. He had 20 points and 9 assists with 14 rebounds. He wasn't really overly aggressive trying to score the basketball. They did a good job of keeping him in check there. And then the rest of the guys didn't, especially like the starting lineup, didn't shoot particularly well. It's also really funny that Denver only played one guy off the bench over 10 minutes. Christian Braun played 47 minutes. Whew. What a day for him. What a shift. He was incredible today. He gave them a lot of energy. He's been playing well for them. But yeah, Jokic, like, it's not that you didn't notice him. What?
Today's incredible. Christian Braun.
One more time?
You thought he was incredible. You said he was incredible.
Yeah, I thought he was a pain in the ass.
Interesting. Noah and I had the same conversation. She said the same thing, and Bobby tweeted about he was torturing the Celtics. I don't think that's true at all. I think that's a load of bullshit. I think Christian Braun played as listen. Christian Braun played as well as he did because the Celtics basically said, "Fuck you, I don't care. You scoring is not going to win you the basketball game." And guess what? It didn't win him the basketball game. By making Christian Braun take 22 shots, they were taking away. It's the whole game theory. It's chess, right? It is why they guarded Darius Garland with Sam Hauser yesterday. They don't like by doing that. Then you take by guarding Sam Hauser with Darius Garland, you bait the Cavs into running their offense through Darius Garland instead of what is the best for their offense, which is Donovan Mitchell. By running things through Christian Braun, by sagging off of Christian Braun, you're basically baiting the Nuggets into running their offense through Christian Braun when they have one of the best pick and rolls in Jokic and Murray in NBA history. In lying in wait. Like he took 13 shots in the first half, and then when they went to the Murray pick and roll with Jokic in the third quarter, when the Nuggets started to do a little bit, he took 6 shots, was 2 of 6, but Jamal Murray had 9 points and Jokic had 4 assists and 4 points, and then they beat the Celtics by 7 in that quarter when they focused on that. Like I think he tortured the Celtics and was incredible because the Celtics wanted that, because they wanted him to have a good game because it would be less efficient for Denver's offense. So and I don't want to say Christian Braun's not a good player. He's having a great season. Like I like Christian Braun as a player, but I think the context that the Celtics wanted him to do that is important, because when I was watching this game, I was laughing every time they left him butt naked wide open, because motherfucker couldn't hit the side of a barn from the ocean. And then when he stepped in and they gave him the middies instead and they started going in, and you're like, oh shit, he's killing him. Yeah, because Christian Braun mid-range attack is this. Who fucking cares? Like, please, God, go run your offense through Christian Braun middies. I just I get it, and he by the stats he did play well. It didn't matter. It felt pretty irrelevant to me watching the game.
Well, I think there's part of this where you go in to Celtics Nuggets today and you think to yourself, what do I expect from Christian Braun? And the reality is you actually don't go in thinking anything about that, because you're not thinking about Christian Braun at all. You're not expecting anything.
Exactly.
So when you get a day like this, it does come off as like, oh, wow, he played really well. He exceeded my expectations for him.
Yes,
which
because that's
at
what
the
they
end
wanted.
of the day,
because exactly what you said.
He did. And Denver came back in this game several times. And why did they come back? How did they get back?
Not Christian Braun.
He was part of it. He had to keep
Hell
them
no, it was
afloat.
Jamal Murray.
I mean, he still scored 24 points in this game, Jack.
Keeping them afloat was down 20. When Christian Braun was the source of their offense, they were down 20. And once they stopped having him as the source of their offense, they came back. Listen, I'm being an asshole.
Yeah, you are.
You're right.
Getting all these looks and scoring as much as he has also fuels him to play defense, which he did a very good job of defending today. So even if him getting 22 shots in this game is what the Celtics wanted, they got him to keep his defensive levels up. I mean, when he's getting as many attempts as he gets and being as involved as he was in the offense, it's going to fuel him defensively and make him more of a pest. And I mean, that factors into the game too. It affects the game on that end. So I think he had a part in the team's success today.
You're right. I was over exaggerating. I don't want to come off like Christian Braun played bad. That's not what I was trying to say, and I apologize. I didn't mean to be a dick. I think the point I was trying to come across at was like, even if it did fuel him defensively, which he had 4 steals in the block, he had a great defensive game. Like I said, I like Christian Braun as a player. Just by funneling and sort of fishing the Nuggets into playing through him, the Celtics were able to combat that with math and go to the spots. Even when he was on defense, they just attacked Jamal Murray anyways, and they just played that sort of playoff type basketball where it is, we are okay with you taking this down to that end, and we're still going to get the best possible look on that end. So he did statistically and defensively, he had a good game. I just don't think it was as impactful as the box score might make it look. But regardless, good win for the Celtics. I don't know what we hadn't talked about yet. Nimi, we didn't talk about Nimi. Nimi was fucking awesome. Shout out Nimi, man. Got to play in this game. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds. He had 4 fouls and he picked one up within 30 seconds. And I was like, shit, here we go again. I thought we were about to get a Nimi classic. And he turned it around, proved me wrong. 4 or 5 in the field. He was fucking awesome in this game.
Yeah, this is a big spot for him to show up with the double bigs starting today. There are obviously going to be extra minutes off the bench. It's good that he ate them up well. And actually, I mean, he had 4 fouls. but he was able to stay on the floor long enough to where both Horford and Cornette got ample rest, and he wasn't actively hurting the team. He did a good job on the glass. 10 rebounds and 8 points is pretty impressive in short minutes like he had. So I think we got a very good Nemi game. And it's good because you want to feel confident in him if you want to rest Kristaps or rest Al. Like, that's a guy that can make those decisions a lot easier. So good for him. Good game.
Definitely. Pritchard and Hauser really helped the bench step up after a rough game against the Cavs. Pritchard had 11 and 3 assists. Hauser had 8 and 3 rebounds. Torrey Craig played a little bit too, but didn't really do too much. He missed a 3. He got a good offensive rebound, but the 3 he missed was like he took 30 years to get it up, and then it just didn't go down. Pritchard was good though. Thought he helped a little bit with the shot making it. The 3 assists were good too, and then Hauser did well on the glass, and he had a big shot late in this game to help seal the deal too. So those 2 guys played well.
Yeah, it was nice to see them both bounce back, as you mentioned. Like, Friday wasn't a great showing for them. Celtics certainly missed having any sort of offense from their bench in the loss to Cleveland. Seeing them show up again combined for 17 was pretty encouraging today on a day where you were going to need a little extra help without KP and Drew again. You were going to need points from somewhere. I'm glad those 3s went in. I'm glad Hauser was making them. And again, good showing from the bench. He had a nice block too on who did Hauser block? It was that like
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, it might have been DeAndre Jordan.
I think it was.
Think about that. And the Celtics went down and scored after that, I think. So I was very happy with that from Hauser.
I think that just about does it. I think we covered everything. Good win. Got back on track. Still haven't lost 3 games in a row the regular season for like 2 years now. Which is an impressive run for this team, which the stat I'm seeing all over Twitter, even though they lost 3 in the conference finals to the Heat. So I think it's pretty silly. But regardless, good win, back on track after the tough loss to the Cavs and the blowout loss to the Pistons. I saw someone tell me somewhere, I don't know if it was TikTok comments or here, that was like, I wouldn't call it a blowout loss to the Pistons. I'm like, lost by 20, bro. What do you mean it's not a blowout loss? But good win, back on track for the Celtics. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comments. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow us, all that good stuff, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment. Let us know what you thought of Celtics Nuggets. You can also subscribe and hit the bell because Jack and I are here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find all of our audio versions of those on Spotify and Apple. Go ahead. Follow us there. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. It does help us in the algorithm. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's the address for that. Be reading some of those tomorrow on the pod, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jackson NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus. These guys are ridiculous.